Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today, we're diving into a pretty important topic about government spending and how we perceive it, especially when it comes to labeling things as fraud or just a difference in opinion. So, let's get into it.
You know, it's kind of wild how often we hear the word fraud thrown around in political discussions.
It's like every time there's a disagreement over how taxpayer dollars are spent, someone's quick to jump in and scream fraud. But, let's take a step back for a second. What does that really mean? Fraud is, like, a deliberate deception for personal gain, right? But then, on the other hand, there's just, policy disagreement, which is, people having different views on what's a good use of those dollars.
There's this interesting conversation between two folks, Jacobs and Leavitt, that really highlights this point. Jacobs argues that some spending is just a matter of differing opinions, while Leavitt is all about calling it fraud.
And, honestly, that kind of labeling can be super damaging. It creates this atmosphere where, if you disagree with someone, you're basically saying they're a criminal.
That's a heavy accusation, and it can shut down honest conversations about how to improve things. And speaking of conversations, let's talk about the media for a sec.
The media has this huge responsibility to question government actions, right? But at the same time, they face tons of challenges in reporting on these policy issues.
It's like, how do they balance getting the truth out there while also not feeding into this, divisive narrative? The way the media frames these discussions can really shape public perception, and sometimes it feels like they're more interested in clicks than clarity.
Now, let's touch on populism. It's this big buzzword in politics that basically means a focus on the needs and concerns of ordinary people, but it can also oversimplify complex issues.
You know, it can be really dangerous when politicians boil down serious topics into sound bites just to gain popularity. Like, sure, we want to connect with the public, but we also need to give them the full picture.
Oversimplifying can lead to misunderstandings about governance and policy, which is not what we need right now. So, what does all this mean for us? It's super important to engage in these discussions with a critical mindset. When we hear something that sounds off, we should question it, Instead of just jumping on the bandwagon of outrage, let's take a moment to think about what's being said and why.
It's all about balance, holding our leaders accountable while also supporting policies that can genuinely help people. As we wrap up, I want to encourage you to engage with media and policies analytically. Don't just take things at face value.
Let's start having those tough conversations and really listening to each other, even when we disagree. I mean, we're not going to solve everything overnight, but being open to discussion is a step in the right direction. And if you found this discussion valuable, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, too.
What are your feelings about government spending and media representation? Let's chat about it. At the end of the day, it's about learning and growing. Even in tough conversations, there's always something positive to take away.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to reflect on these issues and share them with you. So, let's keep questioning, keep learning, and keep the dialogue going. Thanks for watching.